I am going to ask one artificial intelligence question, but as I ask it, it's actually more focused on cyber defense. And you and I know we've talked about this before. Artificial intelligence, especially in the form of machine learning and automation, has been in cybersecurity for decades. And so here's the question though. With AI and automation really becoming kind of a core component of cyber defense, even though I would argue it was before this, how would you tell people to balance those efficiency gains with the risks of introducing new technology?
Yeah, I mean, AI governance is data governance. So essentially, it's not like everyone is really getting distracted in new technology. And by the way, it's really cool. Everyone's using it, myself included, for certain things. It's really helpful. However, when you're talking about an organization's strategy towards AI and things like that, and what are the risks and how do you control that? The first thing is how are you looking at your data? How is the organization looking at its data? What kind of data governance strategy do you have? And often they'll say, "Oh, well, we've got, some controls in place. We have an information if they're lucky, they have an information handling policy that no one looks at and no one uses for labeling and things not secret, but confidential, public, etc. So, when you start there, that's how you can determine, and that goes to a data map, and where does the data live, who's using data. There's privacy implications there as far as data privacy governance and laws. So especially for organizations that are doing business in Europe or with a lot of the U.S. privacy, regimes that are coming into play now, or regulations, it's really important to ensure that you're looking at what your data, where your data is, where it's going, and then from there you can have an AI governance program, because what you're saying is, all right, this data here, this is our intellectual property. This bucket should never be touched by certain things, and therefore, if anyone ever comes close to taking this and then using it to train AI data, there's got to be a really good reason for that, because if that were to be used in a way that would be exposed publicly, that could expose like the intellectual property of the company and kind of bring it down. So, or financial information. That's the thing. I mean, the danger is for a company, even if it doesn't have like a big intellectual property bucket that it needs to protect, it might have financial data that's not public that it doesn't want people to know about. But then one of their analysts on the finance team is uploading to the free version of ChatGPT, which now becomes part of training data. And then when they say company, what can you tell me about company X? It's like, well, actually, here's some financial data on them. That's part of the danger of well, how to misuse AI. So that's a long way to answer your question, but it's essentially AI governance is data governance. Know where your data is. Have a strategy around, the types of data that you have, where it goes, who uses it, and then from there you can create an AI policy.
I love it. And so the big thing I want people to take away from that is it's data, right? Data, data, data. That's the important part. So